What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and I'm doing something a little bit different today, a little bit more personal. No one's ever really asked me this question because it seems like it's just a common thing now. I still kind of wanted to talk about it because I enjoy talking about this type of stuff. For this type of video, my normal style isn't really necessary, I guess, but the question I'm talking about is, why do I love movies? Most people like movies, most people love going to the movie theater and watching an awesome movie. Going to the theater and watching Avengers Endgame, for people back in the 70s, going to the theater and watching Jaws, Halloween, people love doing that. But it's rare that I find someone who not only understands why I feel about movies the way I do, but also shares that same passion, or a very similar passion. Don't get me wrong, I've met many artists at my new school. There are so many people in there that have so many great aspirations, and I've been blessed and lucky enough to befriend them, and I have a lot of great friends. I'm not sure why I'm mentioning this, it just feels right. I don't know, because what really does that have to do with why I love movies? Almost nothing, but it's also supposed to be how I feel about it. I mean, if I find someone in my schooling years that wants to be a writer or a director or a cinematographer, anything that works behind the camera, I will literally die. My passion is quite a rare one, for the most part, among my demographic, and I just want to tell you guys why. Why do I want to do this? Why do I love movies so much? Why have I chosen this and set my heart on this as the absolute career that I'm going to do? No other option. This is what I'm doing. I'm not going to do anything else. This is it. How can I be so passionate and so driven about one thing? No one's ever asked me that, and it's honestly kind of confusing to me, but it also kind of makes sense, because as I said before, most people enjoy going to the movies. They understand why people like movies. But again, why am I so passionate about them? I'm now going to answer that. First of all, this isn't just gonna explain my passion to work behind the scenes. This is also just to explain why I love movies more than your average person. I don't have any notes. This is a completely improvised discussion. It's something that I'm passionate enough about that I think I can do an entire video without having to have notes or anything like that. So the first thing that comes to mind is escapism. Most people go to the movie theater to watch a movie, or even in their house, they watch a movie to go to another world for an hour and a half or 2 hours, or if you're Avengers Endgame, 3 hours, if you're The Irishman, 3.5 hours, if you're Gone with the Wind, 5 hours? Point is, they watch movies to have that sense of escapism, to go to another world for a while where their problems don't exist, and they can get invested into a story and with other characters. That is a really great thing, that we have that in our world. We have a medium that we can go to calm ourselves. We can watch it, we can relax. What I'm saying is, all people go to a movie knowing that it is fictional, but that doesn't bother them because they get to be transported into that world if it's good and enjoy the movie. And I am also one of those people. Whenever I watch a movie, I love the escapism factor of it. But also when I'm watching a movie, I'm looking for something else. I love it when a movie can speak to me. You know what I mean? When a movie speaks to you, it feels like it was playing almost specifically for you. Like you're watching it and something happens and it hits so close to home for you. In your mind, you're just like, that had to be for me. That it was meant. I was meant to see this movie on this day in this particular theater. And I have felt that way, not many times. That's not to say that I haven't seen a lot of good movies, but it's rare that a movie hits me on that deep of a level, where I don't just 90% relate to it, don't just 95% relate to it, where I 100% relate to it. Another reason is just the thought of thousands of people, a lot of times, sometimes it's just hundreds, but the thought of so many people coming together to make 1 2-hour video with fictional characters and a script and all this stuff is amazing to me. It's amazing to me, in my mind, that a group of people coming together to make a 2-hour video with all that stuff because they love it. They love telling stories. These are artists who want to express themselves. They want to tell these stories. They want to get these messages out there. Now, that's not to say that every movie has an agenda. Like, that's not to say every movie is trying to communicate a message to you. Some movies are just fun, but a lot of movies, and unfortunately, a lot of the movies that go under people's radars are the ones that have something really big and impactful to say. I love watching a movie and getting that message, and if it's not to just hammering you over the head, I love it when I can watch a movie and get that message, and I love it even more when, like I said, it hits me on a very deep level. It's an amazing thing. But there's also a fun factor to it. Movies are a lot of fun. Forget about escapism. Movies are fun. I love watching Chief Brody and Quint and Hooper hunt down a great white shark. I love seeing Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm drive away from a T-Rex on an icy road in the middle of the night. I love things like that. That stuff is thrilling. You don't even really need to be invested in the characters to have fun. We've seen time and time again movies that don't necessarily have the best characters, but are just repeatedly entertaining, non-stop entertainment. A good example, in my opinion, would be much recently 1917. The characters were likable and you somewhat cared about them, but overall that movie was style over substance. But it worked because it was so masterfully crafted and it was just so fun to watch, you know? And that may seem a little weird to say since it is based on a real war that was awful. When I say that something like that is fun to watch, what I'm saying is it gets my adrenaline pumping. I'm watching it, I'm white-knuckling the edges of my theater seat, and I'm just on the edge of my seat, just completely laser-focused. Nothing could take me out of that world. That is endless fun. It's truly incredible. Now, I briefly mentioned this in my video called What Happened to the Film Industry, which I've been thinking about taking down that video, honestly. I'm probably not gonna do it, most likely not gonna do it, but the reason I've been thinking about it is I went back and watched it just cuz, and I noticed that there were a couple points I made that I was like, do you actually think that? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't planning for that video to be clickbait. Alright, but a video titled, What Happened to the Film Industry? It's gonna get clicks, you know? It's hard to say that without sounding like such a jerk. Oh my goodness. Self-absorbed. I'm not, I don't think. But looking back, while a lot of the stuff I said in there is my actual opinion, the whole thing with that video, the whole reason why I made it was because I wasn't feeling like people wanted to watch my YouTube channel. I needed to make a bold statement. What happened to the film industry? And like I said, many of my opinions in that video are still my opinions, but a lot of the stuff was exaggerated, and I didn't put enough emphasis on me liking fun. Like, if you just watch that video, it's gonna seem to you that I'm just an artiste, and I just want to watch, like, pretentious art house films and all that stuff. That I don't know what that was. That's not true. I loved Avengers Endgame. It was a ton of fun. I love seeing those characters that I followed for the past 10 years finally just have this big climactic battle. It was amazing to see them all come together like that. Is Avengers Endgame a masterpiece of filmmaking though? Yeah, I mean, it's not a masterpiece of a film, but think of the filmmaking in that movie. You know, it was nominated for Best Visual Effects, and that nomination was well-deserved. It was incredibly well done. Movies that aren't considered art house movies. You know, Avengers Endgame is not considered an art house film. It's considered a comic book film. Now, we have recently been contradicted in that regard, though, with Joker. That is both an art house film and a commercial film coming together, and you get something that both sides of the picture can enjoy. If only we had that in politics. When a movie like that happens, where both commercial audiences and art house audiences and critics and just all these people, when a movie like that comes along and it can appeal to all of those things, that is extremely special. And as far as making movies go, like, I have been asked this before. I have been asked, why do you want to make movies so much? No one asks me why I love watching movies. They just think, oh yeah, he's a movie buff, you know? They don't need an explanation. But for some reason, I've had people ask me, why do you want to make movies so much? What is it about this that appeals to you so harshly, that you're so adamant and just driven to do that, and you're confident that there's no other choice? The answer is simple, guys. It's not something hard to explain. I don't know why so many people treat it like it is. I'm a storyteller. I mean, think about it. I love telling stories. I love movies. It's my favorite art form. You put those two things together, it's a given. Of course I'm gonna be a filmmaker. What else would I be? That's like saying, I love movies, oh my goodness, I love studying movies, and then saying, oh my goodness, I'm such a passionate storyteller, I love both of these things so much, and then going to work at Arby's for the rest of my life. They do have the meats, though. Point is, I don't think it's a dumb question. I think it's a good question, and I like talking about it. It's just, I don't know why so many people ask it in a way where they seem confused. It's like, instead of why do you want to do that, it's like, why do you want to do that, you know? It's all about tone, and I'm getting, like, really nitpicky here, but it's true. Subliminal messaging is one of the most powerful things that can come in the real world and in movies. They go hand in hand. And there you go. Answers to my questions. I've answered why I love watching movies, and I've answered why I want to make movies. It's simple, okay? But I also love photography, you know, a really, really great picture. And that's the other thing. I'll watch a movie and I'm laser focused on the cinematography the entire runtime, while also being focused on the script and the characters and the story and just all of it. And for some reason, people find that confusing. Some people. And if you're one of those people, like if you're one of my friends who's asked me that question and you're watching this video, I'm not knocking you, okay? I completely understand why you would want to ask that. Trust me, I have plenty of friends whose dreams are like the polar opposite of mine, but I still get along with them just fine. In fact, my best friend didn't understand why I wanted to do this so much at first. And that is one of the goals with my YouTube channel. I want to reach out to people. I want to find other people who feel what I feel and who think what I think, you know? Who understand the love of not only movie watching, but filmmaking. You know, this is my goal with this channel. I want to reach out. I want to build a community with it. And no, as much as it may seem at the moment, this is not an infomercial, I assure you. So that really answers most of the questions. If you guys look at movies the same way I do, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your story if you have one similar to this. I will be doing more topic videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep watching movies.